Today we are at ArtMed, the Art of Cosmetic Medicine, and we're going to be chatting with Mary Peirson and Jane Watson.
Yep.
How long has ArtMed been open?
ArtMed opened in 2014. I had worked for a couple of years previously in before we took over, it was
Laser Aesthetics.
Laser
Yes.
Aesthetics, owned by Dr. Cosmetic, and I worked there for a couple of years.
Oh, okay.
And so when we bought it, it was 2014 May.
Okay.
Yeah, we changed name a couple of years later.
All right.
And then moved here a couple of years after that. So
Mhm.
it's
Okay.
been kind of this iteration process.
Awesome. And it's a lovely place. You'd be very
Thank
proud.
you.
Very
Thank
proud.
you.
I saw it before you started. It's
Yes.
quite
what
the
building used to
transformation.
look like?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
it
Quite
was
the transformation.
Quite different, yes.
All right. So could I have one of you describe your business and what makes you different?
So we are an aesthetic medicine business, so we are concerned with helping you to age with grace.
Mhm.
So aging is an ongoing process, and we help you to sort of manage that the same way a dentist might help you to take care of your teeth.
Mhm.
We're going to help take care of your skin and the aging process that you visibly see. And what makes us different, aside from the fact that we're a family-owned business and two
Mhm.
sisters,
Yes.
we are physician-owned as well, so I'm a physician, and there's a physician on site.
Mhm.
And so we are very medically oriented.
Okay.
We are not like a med spa.
Mhm.
We are a medical clinic that
Mhm.
focuses on aesthetic medicine.
Okay.
And being female-owned
Mhm.
is also unusual in our industry
Oh,
because
okay.
many aesthetic medicine businesses are owned by male physicians or male business owners.
Okay.
So being female-owned, family-owned,
Mhm.
and physician-led makes us unique.
Wow. All right. And what drives you to do what you do?
I think I can take this one. There's a lot of misinformation in our industry.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of people who have a vague understanding of what we do from the media, and it's easy to get confused. We really pride ourselves on education. We really pride ourselves on making sure that people get the full picture of everything that we do, but also like all the pros and cons. And there'll oftentimes be people coming and going, I saw this on Instagram and I need that. And we'll be you know what, let's start at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's talk about your skin.
Mhm.
Let's talk about the whole process of aging. And maybe that's not actually the thing you really want, you
Okay.
know. So we spend a lot of time in consultation education. I do a lot of educational outreach. I'm constantly trying to go out there and spread the word of what is a healthy, appropriate ways to take care of your skin and to age gracefully.
Okay.
So I think that what drives us a lot is making sure that the work is well done,
Mm-hmm.
it's done ethically, and it's done with like full, education and consent. There's a really positive relationship between our practitioners here and our clients. They never walk away kind of going, I don't know what just happened. You know,
Okay.
they always know. And
Okay.
they come through the doors with us. There's quite an involved process in terms of consultation. So
Yeah, because it's a medical clinic, we're concerned with diagnosis and treatment,
Mm-hmm.
not
Okay.
selling,
All
Yeah.
right.
right?
Awesome. Yeah, that
Yeah.
would make you quite different, I think.
Yes.
yeah, and that's what
Then-
sets us apart from some of our competition.
Okay. Great. What is something most people don't know about your business? We already talked about a family business, and that's not always known.
Mhm.
Anything else?
Well, some people know and don't know, of course, our location here.
Yes.
It used to be Upstell's Grocery for many, many years. We get a lot of people who come in and go, oh yeah, I used to buy my groceries here. Yes, yes. In fact, I bought my groceries here when I first moved to Guelph.
Yeah.
So, in fact, when we opened, we had Jack and his family come through and see the renovations, and they gave us
Oh,
pictures
nice.
that we keep in our front
Yeah.
foyer. So some people know that,
Mhm.
some people don't. They go, nice building, and other people come in and they go, I know this building. I'm like, yes,
Mhm.
yeah. So that's one thing that people sometimes know and don't know.
A nice segue from that is something people don't know as well is that this love of renovating is
Mhm.
something that runs deep in our
Yes.
for Mary and I both,
Yes.
because we renovated this building like down to the studs and back up again. but with always this respectful mindfulness of the previous owners. And that's part of the reason why we brought Jack up still back when we renovated, and we kept his safe, which is in the lobby.
Yes.
We try to keep, you know, a respectful acknowledgement of what was there before, which kind of really translates into what we do in the business as well, is that we work with what and who you are when you come through the door.
Right.
We work with respectfully the person who's with me, you know, and who's with Mary, you know. And that's kind of part of it too. Mary's got a long history of having done not only just renovations, but restoration, and furniture was like one of her first businesses way back when she was a teenager. Yeah,
There you go.
People
Something we don't know.
They don't know.
Making
or
old
cars,
things beautiful,
restoring cars.
rebuilding cars,
Oh,
furniture,
wow.
all of that. Yeah, it runs deep in who she is. So.
Yeah, and I guess another thing that people don't know is that I'm not a dermatologist.
Okay.
People assume that.
Okay.
I do a lot of dermatology.
Okay.
But my background is primarily in infectious disease and public health.
Okay.
When people come to the clinic, they go, oh, it's beautiful, but it's medical. And it's like, yes, because I come from a public health background, health and safety is super important to me.
Okay.
And so when we renovated the clinic, it was to that level, that standard of care and concern for health and safety of our patients and our staff too. So coming from that background, people are surprised because, this I didn't come from the traditional route into this kind of work. I came through an alternate sort of path. So,
Yeah.
All right. So tell me about your goals over the next year within the clinic.
We are continuing to evolve quite a lot in terms of how we run our business. You know, I mean, one thing that's, you know, to be honest, is when Mary and I started this, neither of us had a strong business background. You know, and although I'm the business director, it was kind of like my background was in education and performance. You know, and so we've been using, you know, learning as we go, and I feel like we're finally at a place where we kind of go, okay, we got this, and now we can control the evolution of where and how we want to be. We really want to be a premier destination location clinic where it's known in the community that the standards are high and you're in good hands. So I think in terms of where we're going for the next year is to get the word out there a lot more, because a lot of Guelph knows about us, but a lot of Guelph still doesn't.
Yes.
And in the Tri-City area as well. I think that's my biggest ambition, because there's a lot of people that are kind of going, I didn't know you did that. Oh, I didn't know you did that. I didn't know you did sclerotherapy. I didn't know you did, you know, all of the things that we do, because we have such a huge menu.
You do.
Right? And so for me, that's a big piece of it, is getting the information out there. Because once people know we're here, they're relieved, and then they're like, oh, now I'll tell my friends, right?
Okay. Awesome. What are your greatest challenges? And I think you mentioned one of them right there, right? Is getting known. That people, now that you've been established for about 5 years? Yeah, okay, 5 years to at this location, getting people to know where you are. Is that one of your greatest challenges?
it definitely is. I mean, I think one of the greatest challenges on a day-by-day basis is aesthetic medicine is a very new area of medicine, and consequently it's incredibly unregulated.
Okay.
It's also an area of medicine that falls outside of our traditional understanding, the OHIP-based medical system, right? So consequently, the system is not really prepared for that, right?
Okay.
And so there's a lot of people doing different things in different areas, and it's not clearly defined. It's not like you can go into medicine and take a specialty in aesthetic medicine. That doesn't exist, right? So one of our challenges on a day-by-day basis is to try to establish best practices, because the industry doesn't do it for us.
Okay.
So we have to do it ourselves on a day-by-day basis, coming from our own backgrounds. And, you know, we're constantly looking for that information on best practice and regulation. One of the challenges and one of the things we'd like to do is be able to talk more about that publicly.
Okay.
Okay? To explain to the community and to the wider aesthetic community, did you know we're highly unregulated?
Right.
Did you know it's a buyer beware kind of environment? And so be careful where you go, make sure that there's good
Follow up.
qualified people
Yes.
working at that place. And so we'd like to be involved in that conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd like to elevate the entire industry.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Very important.
that's an ongoing and future endeavor to be more involved in that and to speak to that more publicly.
So, what is the difference between aesthetic and cosmetic medicine?
Well, it's interesting you ask that because these terms get thrown around a lot, right? And that's part of what we see in the fact that the industry is a bit unregulated because these are not clearly defined. Aesthetic usually implies anything visual, what we see, right? Cosmetic is improving, I guess, changing the appearance. So that's why most commonly you'll hear of a cosmetic surgeon, not an aesthetic surgeon.
Okay.
Right? So plastic surgery would generally fall into the cosmetic area because you're actually trying to change the way someone looks, whereas aesthetics is a little bit more
Working with what you have.
working with what you have to be the best possible you.
Okay.
Okay? Now, that said, we called ourselves the Art of Cosmetic Medicine because most people understand cosmetic, because we do things to people. We're not just makeup and healthcare and skincare.
Right.
We are doing things to people. But our personal philosophy is somewhere in between, right?
Okay.
We're trying to be the best that you can with the least amount of intervention possible.
Right.
Okay? So we still are an interventional business.
Right.
But we err on the side of aesthetics.
Yeah, so we're non-surgical.
Right.
But and we often, to go along with that, we often say the best injectable is the least detectable.
Right.
You
Yeah.
shouldn't be
You're not
able
making
to.
plastic people.
No.
Plastic people. Yeah.
No,
Exactly.
you should look like your best self,
Mhm.
but you should always look like yourself.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going to switch into more neighborhood thoughts, and I know both of you live downtown.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Favorite restaurants in the neighborhood?
Depends what I'm going for. I know Park Grocery is so close now, and it's a great spot for us. I have a lot of business meetings there and quick lunches there. I love going when I have a hankering for Italian. I go to Buon Gusto.
Okay.
The cocktails at Mijida are also really good because they make all those syrups on their own, so those are great. And my husband and I always do Bin 23 as our kind of date night.
Oh,
So
okay.
those are some of my favorites. Oh, and I also love Carden Street. What's that one? It's now called Bistro. What's it called?
39 Carden.
39 Carden. I love 39 Carden.
Okay.
Their brunch is amazing. And Atmosphere, I have to do a shout out to Atmosphere too. I love that for they've got crepes on Sunday morning. I love that. So yeah, I go to all the restaurants
She's
downtown.
much more social than I am. I'm much more of an introvert. I personally like Thai Villa. It's
Okay.
just down the street from us. That's like my
That's
quick
a good lunch
go-to
one.
lunch place, and we often have meetings there. If I really am doing a fancy meal out, I like La Cucina downtown. I love Italian, so I'll go there. And then I actually am a very frequent visitor to Walk's Taste.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
again, because I eat in a lot, because I'm fairly introverted.
Right.
So for takeout, Thai Villa and Walk's Taste,
Walk's
big,
Taste?
big,
Okay.
big fans.
All right.
That said, Park Grocery is walkable, and I love it. I
Yeah.
mean, it's been a nice new addition to our neighborhood.
Yes.
We really, really enjoy it. Lots of nice things there. Oh, and then of course, what's our bread?
Oh, the bread place.
Polestar.
Thank you.
Yes,
Polestar.
Polestar,
Yay,
yes,
yeah.
Polestar. Love
Yeah.
Polestar.
Yes. Yeah, the Danishes, the croissants,
Yes,
the bread.
exactly.
We want anything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anything they make, we'll eat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. Okay. And then our last question, and this applies to your business as well as others. Why do you think it's important for people to shop local? Because you obviously do.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's lots of reasons. I mean, we talk about this in the clinic even, but obviously shopping local supports local businesses. Local businesses then support local employment, local tax base, local everything. I mean, it's a pyramid,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So being a consumer supports this huge base that you don't even think about,
Yeah.
right? So for me, that's really important. I often talk. We would carry Canadian companies pretty much exclusively in our
Our skincare.
our skincare, but everything, Lunatic, you know,
Socks.
right? Like lots of things that we carry are Canadian, and that's partly because in our industry, in aesthetic medicine, there's a lot of pharmaceutical companies that take it offshore, right, for tax reasons, right? So if
yeah.
we can shop with Canadian manufacturers, like Vivier is a pharmaceutical company that's Canadian. They pay their taxes in Canada.
Right.
We think that is valuable.
Yes.
Pays for our
yes.
schools and
Okay.
our roads, and so wherever we
Healthcare.
can, wherever we can, we support Canadian businesses in our business for all those reasons because it supports our community.
Right.
And then of course that whole community piece.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
Because
huge for
we
us.
know that we're becoming a more isolated and lonely society because of technology. So shopping locally also keeps you connected
Yeah.
locally, right?
Yeah.
Relationships, people that you know, places that you go to. I think that's really super healthy for people and families and communities. So, but you know, supporting your local businesses also keeps your neighborhoods vibrant, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I mean, when we're healthy, we can give back to our community as well. This is a real feedback loop. So last year, for example, we did a donation to Hospice Wellington. And you know, there'll be a family member of mine there, you know, sometime in the future. And I'm like, I like the circle nature of that. You know, we give, and then Big Brothers as well. We want to be able to donate
Support
to
the local.
charities as well. So when we shop local, you know, we end up in this really great feedback loop. You know, where we can support each other.
My husband would say that, you know, because he lived in Europe for many, many years, and he's like, I don't know why we're not restricting ourselves only to where we can walk.
Yes.
Because that's what he did when he lived in Europe, and
Yes.
many Europeans do. They basically you shop where you can walk,
Yes.
right? And you shop every day. You don't store your refrigerator full of food. You go out that day, you buy what you need, you
Yes.
cook your meal. And so I think there's a lot of quality of life in shopping locally that, you know, it makes a big difference on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, you know, overall health and happiness.
Yeah, yeah, and the walking adds to it, right?
The walking is just, if you can
Yeah.
walk to your local retailer or business, all the better.
Yeah.
All the better.
Great. Well, thank you,
You're
both of
welcome.
you, for your time.
You're welcome.
And so I encourage anyone who's interested in cosmetic and aesthetic medicine to come and visit ArtMed and visit Jane and Mary.